What is up, guys? JD here with another everyday carry video for you all. I hope you're all doing well today. Today I'm actually going to be going on and doing a full review of this Spyderco Smock that I picked up in the secondhand market and kind of give you guys my impression and thoughts. What drove me to buy that was actually the Blade HQ exclusive Spyderco Smock, which I really like. But I'm not going to change this from its stock format. I want to leave this just like it is, carry it just like it is. But I really enjoy this knife so much and all of the fidget goodness that comes with this knife that I wanted to see if I could find something relatively cheap by comparison in the used market that I could kind of customize myself. So I picked this up from a guy on the forums. He was on a Patreon for Best Damn EDC, and you know, I trust that community a lot. He said that he bought it, carried it a little bit, and then put it in a box, and it's been sitting ever since. I'm going to tell you that I don't believe that one little bit, and I'm going to get into why in just a moment. Now, I do believe that he probably didn't use it to cut a lot. Sorry, I have a hard time with the satin on this camera for some reason. It doesn't like the satin, the reflective surface. Just gives it a really hard time. So I apologize for that. Hopefully you guys can see it, or maybe I can do some zooming in to help you. But I do feel like this is the factory edge. I tested that first and foremost. The other thing was, I believe he had tightened this up for whatever reason. There's no detent lash. Trying to shake it over there for you. The lockup's nice and tight. There's no blade play at all on the pivot. But the reason I think that he handled this more than he indicated, you can see it's not drop shutty, and let me see if I can do that on the mic for you. It's sticky, which to me indicates that, you know, he's handled it a little bit more than what he let on. The knife, the carbon fiber, it does have some texturing to it, which does help with the grip. But if gosh, that's sticky. I'm going to take this apart and clean it up and come back on camera and let you guys know what I think here in just a minute. Just really quick, I wanted you to see, he definitely tried to maintenance the knife. I highly doubt that all this lube is from the factory, and I can assure you it's not from me. This is way too tight. He definitely has messed with this knife a little bit more than he said, but there's no issues with the knife or the action, so I'm okay with that, and I paid significantly less than what it costs new. Also, you can see there's some wear on, where is it? There it is, it's down here. You can see a little bit of wear on that pocket clip, but when you compare it to the one that I picked up from Blade HQ, I mean, it's so smooth, it's almost squishy. Whereas when you try to do that here, I mean, it's just really sticky. Hopefully you can kind of get a sense of that. And the action's just not as smooth as it is. And this knife is on bearings. It should be smooth. So I think he's probably over tightened it. I want to show you guys just how grimy. I mean, that is crazy grimy. Let me get this all cleaned up. I'll show you the parts when it's cleaned up, and then on camera we'll go back to see what the final final judgment is. I'm gonna have to take the other side off to get that oil off. That's just, oh my gosh. All right, I am done cleaning everything up. Do you remember just a second ago, you couldn't even see you couldn't see the metal underneath all the grimy oil, both in the pivot and on, oh my gosh. So everything's cleaned up. I don't know if those are skiff bearings or not, but they're not caged like typical bearings. They kind of make me think that they might be the skiff. That or Spyderco does a phenomenal job with their bearings. I'm seriously thinking about just like shaming this dude on YouTube. Like, that is crazy. So let me explain to you what the problem with the stickiness is. So sorry, I'm having to hold this with one hand. The oil was just spilling out everywhere. Sorry, that pivot was about to come out and I didn't want it to fall on the floor. And what happens when the oil, so this is how the push button works. When you're pushing that button, you're basically compressing the liner lock here so that the blade can move. And what happens is, when the oil cakes up here and your pocket lint or the dirt and dust from whatever you're cutting starts to combine to the oil, and it absorbs some of the oil and it adheres to the surface, it becomes gummy and that becomes sticky. And then you get that tackiness from opening and closing the knife, both at the pivot and in your bearings. You just need like a bare minimal amount of oil. You do not need oil in here, okay? This does nothing. This guides to the stop point for the pivot. This here is what's riding on that. And let me see if I can get it to focus a little bit better. That is what's riding on it. You don't need to oil that. Like, please, one of my pet peeves, please, 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 do not use an abundance of oil. Here, hold on 1 second. I'm going to show you how much oil to use. I'm going to put it right here for you. And I apologize, I'm freehanding it on my phone. I'll give my phone a second to catch up. All right, so watch. Bloop. Bloop. That's it. Do not use any more oil than that. Put your bearing down in there and work your bearing around on that oil. That is all you need for these. If they're not ceramic, they're steel bearings. Get yourself a set of skiff bearings. They're ceramic. That is all you need. You not need any oil for anything else. Please, 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 never use that much oil on your knives. That is unnecessary, especially when you have bearings. And if you have washers, just take a little bit, drop it on there and rub it around your finger. You'll feel the oil in your finger and throw them in there. That is all you need. Maintenance your knives regularly. That is all you need. Oh my gosh. All right, guys, we're back at the bench. I have finished cleaning, reassembling, and I did do a little bit of tuning on this particular knife. The action now is phenomenal. The button stick is completely gone now that I've cleaned it and retuned the detent. As you can see, I'll try to zoom in a little bit there, but what I ended up doing, because I'm not sure if he tried to adjust the detent on it or not, or maybe if the detent wasn't properly tuned, but right now it's looking like it's, and let me turn the light up just a little bit for this part so that you can really see down in there pretty good. Hopefully the detent and the liner lock here, sorry, I had a brain fart there for a second, was really far over, like over 50%, and I think that was attributing to the lock stick and the detent, which was affecting the action on the knife itself. So I have it right now probably sitting right at 40 to 50%, and everything is lubed like I showed you in the video. Just a little bit of lube right here on your bearings, just like a touch of a drop on your detent ball, just for the action to keep it smooth, to prevent rubbing. And it's now drop shut. Really nice action, feels really smooth on deployment, and you know, I'm just really happy with the outcome. Oh, I forgot to turn this back down, I'm sorry. That was a little bright there. Really happy with the final product. I think the next thing that I'm probably going to do is just hone the blade a little bit. You can tell it's been used a little, not terrible, but let's see if I can get a piece of paper out here. I got this this pad that I leave out in the garage in case I want to write something down. But you can see it's a little rough on the cut, so I think just a couple of strokes on the strap will probably get it to smooth like my Manix 2 here that I just got. I haven't used this one too much, but you can kind of see the difference going through the paper. See, it just needs a little bit of honing, and I think it'll be really good. So that's my take on picking up a used knife. I'm hoping that the other thing that'll help you guys as well is the fact that if you pick up something used, this is something you want to consider doing. You're going to want to take your knife apart. You're going to want to check and make sure that it's properly lubed, that you have good detent lockup, you don't have excess oil with lint and dirt and grime preventing the action from being nice and smooth. Plus, it's just nice to put fresh lube on there, make sure that you haven't put too much, that you have just enough, that it's not dry. And you want to be able to just inspect the knife, do any type of adjusting to the detent itself, maybe have to hone it or sharpen it. But this knife here overall, I would say, is in fairly good condition. Scales are in good condition, hardware is in good condition. I feel like I have it lubed and tuned to where I like it, and I feel like it's probably a little bit better than maybe even factory action. I'll hone the blade up, and then the next thing I'm going to be doing, the whole reason that I wanted to pick up a secondary smock or a smock on the secondary market for cheap was because I intend to mod it, and I'm looking around at some of the things that I want to do, you know, scales, pocket clips, the norm, but make it look really cool and something that I will really like. And I save all of the factory hardware in case, you know, I ever decide to move on to something else, because it has happened on occasion where I picked up a knife, thought I was going to, you know, never get rid of it, and then I realized that there was something that I wanted so much more, or spoke to me so much more. But I will say the smock really does speak to me. Like, the fidget factor on these are phenomenal, the action phenomenal, size perfect for me. I really do like this Wharncliffe blade, and the this particular variant here, as I mentioned before, is the CPM S30V. So these steels were designed specifically for pocket knives. Very good performing steel overall as far as toughness, corrosion resistance, cutting edge retention, etc. So if you haven't, subscribed and turn on your notifications so you can look forward to future mods of this knife to see what I'm going to do with it and what aftermarket offerings there are out there for it. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like. I appreciate all the support out there. I hope all of you have a fantastic week. Peace.